This young man is somebody that could stay at number one for a really long time and keep winning majors with that type of attitude.
He is congratulated by the greatest of all time.
Carlos Alcaraz just did what no man in tennis history has ever done before. He walked into Rod Laver Arena, stared down the greatest player of all time, and took the one trophy missing from his cabinet. 7 Grand Slams before his 23rd birthday. First man in the Open era to win each slam on his first finals appearance. A record that, but here's what nobody wants to say out loud. What if Alcaraz arrived 10 years earlier? The conversation changes completely, and tennis veterans who actually competed against those guys at their best are finally saying it out loud. What if instead of facing a 38-year-old Djokovic running on fumes and miracles, he walked into a locker room with prime Novak, peak Rafa grinding him into clay dust, and Federer still carving up grass courts like nobody else could? Roddick played against Federer when Roger was untouchable. He knows what it feels like to face greatness at its absolute peak.
Novak serve, Novak punch, 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 punch. Carlos literally went into lockdown mode against the lockdown king.
And when he breaks down the Alcaraz-Djokovic final, he's not just praising Carlos, he's acknowledging something uncomfortable. At 38 years old, Djokovic's options are narrowing.
I think Carlos was the favorite going into this match.
The pathways to victory that used to be highways are now tightropes. That's not disrespect to what Alcaraz accomplished. That's the context that matters. Let's be absolutely clear about what prime Novak Djokovic looked like. In 2011, he went 43-0 to start the season. 43 wins, 0 losses. He beat Nadal in 4 consecutive finals. He beat Federer at the US Open when Roger had match points. He won 3 Grand Slams and finished with a 70-6 record for the year. In 2015 and 2016, he held all 4 Grand Slam trophies at the same time, the Knoll Slam. He was so dominant that people genuinely wondered if anyone would ever challenge him again. His movement was supernatural. His returning was the best the sport had ever seen. His mental game broke opponents before the 3rd set even started. That player doesn't exist anymore, and pretending otherwise does a disservice to both Djokovic's legacy and an honest assessment of what Alcaraz has actually faced. The tactical breakdown tells the real story. Against prime Djokovic, you didn't get time on the ball. He took it early. He redirected everything. He made you feel like you were hitting into a black hole that somehow spat winners back at you from impossible angles. Against current Djokovic, you get more looks, you get more rhythm, you get opportunities that simply didn't exist when he was at his peak. Alcaraz is brilliant at exploiting those opportunities. His shot variety is extraordinary. His athleticism is elite. His mental strength in big moments is developing rapidly. None of that is in question. The question is whether he'd have those same opportunities against the guy who made Rafael Nadal look human on clay. Speaking of Nadal, Carlos never faced peak Rafa, not once. By the time Alcaraz emerged as a serious contender, Nadal was managing chronic injuries and stealing titles on sheer willpower and muscle memory. Prime Nadal didn't just beat you, he made you question whether you belonged on the same court. His forehand was a weapon that literally changed how people thought about topspin. His defense turned your best shots into his counterattacking opportunities. His fitness meant you knew the 5th set belonged to him before it even started. Alcaraz beat Nadal a few times late in Rafa's career. Important wins for confidence and rankings. But those matches tell us nothing about what would have happened if Carlos had to navigate a draw with 2010 Nadal waiting in the semifinals on Philippe Chatrier. And Federer? Carlos never played Roger, not a single professional match. By the time Alcaraz was winning ATP titles, Federer was already done. Prime Federer was tennis playing chess while everyone else played checkers. His anticipation made movement look effortless. His variety kept opponents guessing on every single point. His ability to absorb pressure and produce magic in the biggest moments defined an era. The tennis world spent years debating whether anyone could ever challenge Federer's dominance. Then Nadal emerged and made it a rivalry. Then Djokovic arrived and made it a 3-way war that pushed all of them to heights none would have reached alone. Alcaraz hasn't faced anything close to that gauntlet. His main rivals are Sinner, who just served a doping suspension and whose best surface overlaps with Carlos, and a collection of talented players who haven't proven they can sustain championship-level consistency across multiple seasons. This isn't about diminishing what Carlos has accomplished. 7 slams at 22 is historic regardless of context. Completing the career Grand Slam faster than anyone in history is remarkable. His talent is undeniable. But talent meeting opportunity is different than talent overcoming the greatest obstacles ever assembled. Let's look at what Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer faced when they were winning their first 7 slams. Djokovic's first 7 slams came against fields that included peak Federer and peak Nadal. He had to beat those guys repeatedly just to collect what Alcaraz is accumulating now. His path to the 2011 US Open title went through Federer in the semifinals and Nadal in the final, back-to-back, both at or near their best. Nadal's first 7 slams came mostly on clay, but he still had to navigate Federer at his peak on other surfaces. His Wimbledon breakthrough in 2008 required beating the greatest grass court player ever in what's still considered the greatest match ever played. Federer's first 7 came before Nadal and Djokovic fully emerged, which is why some analysts consider that stretch less impressive in retrospect. The competition simply wasn't as deep. Alcaraz's 7 slams have come against Djokovic at 36, 37, and 38, against Sinner, who's his age and still developing, against Zverev, who's never won a slam and has his own well-documented issues in big moments. Those are good wins. They're not the same as beating prime Big Three members who'd already proven they could win 15-plus majors each. The Big Three made each other great in ways that get overlooked. Federer's longevity was partly driven by Nadal and Djokovic, forcing him to keep evolving. Nadal's mental strength was forged in battles against 2 players who matched his intensity. Djokovic's obsessive preparation was necessary because anything less meant losing to 2 legitimate all-time greats. They sharpened each other for 15 years. Every slam was a war. Every final felt historic because the stakes were always about more than one trophy. Alcaraz and Sinner have the talent to create something special. Their matches are entertaining, their contrasting styles make for compelling viewing, but they haven't pushed each other through the kind of crucible that transformed the Big Three from great players into legends. Not yet, anyway. Here's the uncomfortable truth that tennis media doesn't want to acknowledge because it complicates the narrative they're building around Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz is benefiting from timing in ways that get completely ignored in the rush to crown him the next undisputed king. He arrived at the exact moment when Djokovic's body started limiting what his mind still knows how to do, when Nadal was already planning retirement, when Federer had already walked away. The 3 greatest players in history were simultaneously exiting or declining just as Carlos was entering his prime competitive years. That's not luck in the pejorative sense. That's just how generational transitions work. But pretending it doesn't matter when evaluating his achievements is intellectually dishonest. The question isn't whether Alcaraz is great. He obviously is. His shot-making is spectacular. His competitive fire is genuine. His ability to perform in big moments is already elite. The question is whether greatness, achieved against declining legends and developing contemporaries, means the same thing as greatness achieved against multiple all-time greats in their absolute primes. History suggests it doesn't, and the veterans who actually competed in both eras know the difference even if they're too diplomatic to say it directly. None of this means Alcaraz can't become the greatest of all time through the accumulation of titles over the next decade. His talent ceiling is as high as anyone who's ever played. His physical tools are extraordinary. His work ethic appears genuine. But the path matters, the obstacles matter, the quality of competition at the highest level matters, and the fact that 38-year-old Novak Djokovic can still push him to the limit in a Grand Slam final tells you something important about where Carlos actually stands relative to where the legends stood when they were collecting their first 7 majors. Djokovic, at 38, running on memories and miracles, took Alcaraz deep into a final and made him earn every single point. Prime Djokovic wouldn't have let it get that far. Prime Djokovic would have broken Carlos mentally before the 4th set even started. That's not speculation. That's what he did to everyone else for 15 years. Carlos Alcaraz has all the tools to be the greatest player tennis has ever seen. The career Grand Slam at 22 is just the beginning of what he's capable of achieving. But when we evaluate where he stands right now, we have to be honest about the context. The competition he's facing isn't the same. The gauntlet he's navigating isn't as brutal. The obstacles in his path aren't as imposing as what the big three had to overcome just to stay relevant against each other. 7 slams against declining legends and developing rivals is impressive. 7 slams against 3 simultaneous all-time greats at their peaks would be historic on a different level entirely. Alcaraz has time to build a legacy that answers every question. But right now, the honest assessment is that he's benefited from timing in ways that matter. And the veterans who know what it actually felt like to face those guys at their best understand the difference even if the media refuses to acknowledge it. What do you think? Is Alcaraz's era easier than what the big three faced? Drop your take in the comments, subscribe for more tennis content,